Ah, Pound World, that most wonderful place where everything you buy there weighs £1. Well, that's actually a bit of a lie. It actually costs £1. And here's one thing that I picked up, a 2016 calendar. Various scenes from across the UK. No idea where that is. And it didn't even cost £1 because it was on sale for 50p, which isn't really that surprising really, because when you think about it, it's July now. Yeah. So, yeah. That's 50p. It's only really useful for half the year, but that said, I suppose if like me you like to do photography or even drawing and stuff like that, you could either use this as references for places to go to try to recreate the shots yourself, or for reference material for creating your own drawings. And we've got a good variety, you know. We've got the Yorkshire Dales, we've got Menai Bridge, that might be pronounced differently. I'm not in any way an expert on pronouncing Welsh place names, and that's not even one of the difficult ones. That said, March is represented by Loch Shiel, which is in Scotland, and I'm probably mispronouncing Shiel there. We've also got St Paul's Cathedral. Now, I've never actually been to St Paul's, so I know it's noted for its very big dome. I just didn't know it actually had a garden in front of it. I just sort of always assumed it was straight onto a big street. But then again, like I said, I've never been there, so I couldn't really say. We've got a place in Wales which I certainly can't pronounce, and that's looking quite picturesque. In fact, I might very well just open this up and take a look at them properly in a little while. We'll come back to this. We've got various different places, including quite a local spot to myself, Gateshead, which is directly opposite the river from Newcastle. That is actually the Tyne Bridge just there in the background, with the Millennium Bridge even in the foreground. Now you might think, Millennium Bridge, don't they have that in London? Well, yes, they do have a bridge called the Millennium Bridge in London, but the one we have in Newcastle and Gateshead is a lot better on the grounds that it can tilt. And a lot of people were saying it was going to break as soon as it did. And the reason it can tilt is simply so that it can allow the ships to sail in and out at the time. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that it would break the first time I tried it, but the engineering was obviously good enough that it didn't, because here we are, 2016, not one mechanical failure that I am aware of anyhow. It is a footbridge, but you can't actually walk on it when it's being lifted up, because if you were, you'd take a dip in the time, which is not really a good idea. Now what else did I end up getting from here? Well, there was some luggage tags, hands off my bag, all your details. Yeah, really useful stuff there. Then there was this. I can't actually recall what it was. Shopping bag. Oh right, okay, it's a little shopping bag, because in these days where everybody in the UK has to pay for a little shopping bag nowadays, everybody was whinging about that in the whole of England once that was introduced, although apparently Wales and Scotland had that same rule in place for years. So this is actually looking a bit more like a tiny little vest in some regards. But, yeah, it's a bit... I kind of doubt the strength of it, to be honest, but yeah, you can sort of see it fills up the screen altogether. Well, the only way you could really test it is by obviously filling it up with stuff and whatnot. I'm not entirely sure I would want to make use of it for shopping, but it feels strong enough. I'll have to... Doesn't feel like it's going to break, but given it only costs £1, the material it's made out of, there's actually absolutely nothing inside to give you any sort of hints and tips as to what you should be doing with it. Let's just see if there's anything on here. There's a batch number, there's a barcode, ITP Imports, and then the postcode. So it's from our friends from ITP Imports. We'll just put that to one side and we'll do the same with the luggage tags. It's more impressive than you'd think, but yeah, I've still just got my doubts about that. Anyhow, what else did I get? Well, I got these hilarious dinosaur sets. And it's more the positioning that brought it to my attention more than anything else, because, well, yeah, they are basically just... They're all the different scales for one thing, and they're all getting their freak on. Really getting their freak on. Getting quite a bit of a freak on. Yeah, I mean, come on. I don't know the name of that particular dinosaur, but I do know this out from the sheer scale of it. It was bigger than that thing. That might be to the same scale as that, but that certainly isn't. That should be at least 3 times the size of that. You've got pterodactyl, whatever the hell the name was. And of course, it's all going back by the assumption that the dinosaurs were all sort of giant lizards, whereas nowadays everybody's convinced that they actually had feathers. And there is supposed to be fossilized evidence of that. It would probably be too much effort to make new molds and whatnot, and just go away from the image of them being anything but what they actually really were, or what everybody assumes they were by now, because we've had a couple of centuries of dinosaurs were giant lizards. This is what they looked like, even though we don't actually have any evidence of that at this point. Oh, and of course it turns out we couldn't actually clone them because their DNA will be completely dead and useless. It's completely inert at this point. Mind you, it's not just cheap rubbish you can get. You can also get well-known products such as Lynx body wash for £1, which is decent enough. Does it actually smell like... Yes, it smells like Lynx Africa paint. If I was to tip it out and pour the contents on here, it obviously looked like Lynx Africa. Oh, and right on time, although I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, I don't know if the mic's going to pick it up, it has started raining outside. Yeah, I've got the window right. The way everything's packed up, usually I would have a window behind me that way, a good distance. At the moment, because of redecorating, I've got a window over that way, because I'm in a completely different room to what I would normally be in. Well, let's, before I actually open this up, let's look at something else that I managed to get completely by surprise. Yeah, mystery packs, blind bags, warning of choking hazards and whatnot. I'm not entirely sure what these are supposed to be. I'm guessing some sort of Lego rip-off or maybe some sort of minifigure type thing. Okay, I'm not sure if these are things that you're going to end up having to put together yourself. But what the hell? Series 1, 13 to collect. Doesn't actually give you the names of any of them. Although it does give you a battery caution. Not sure if the camera's going to pick this up probably, but right there, battery caution. Switch off when not in use. It requires 2 of those little round batteries, I'm assuming, which are included, which is actually quite nice. And a Phillips head screwdriver, not included. Well, yeah, that would be a bit too much to ask. Alright, let's just take these off and get these open. Using my incredibly dull scissor substitute, which is of course my knife. Oh, there's an instruction pack of some sort. Let's just see what they are. Collect them all. Series 1 little bricks. Super light building system. Okay, so it is some sort of Lego system. So in some regards, this is like those giant Marvel action style and Hasbro endorsed build your own superhero with the superhero parts and do the same with Transformers type thing. So you've got interchangeable body parts, and then in the back of the body goes 2 of those little round batteries. Right. Power parts are interchangeable, so you can create custom light figures. Light being lighted up, of course. Okay, so here we have all the standard characters. Colonel Cook, because he's obviously from the mess hall. Captain Bolt, because he's obviously a dunce. Buzzsaw, because he had no originality. Heatseeker, because he had no originality. Colonel Cook in armour, for when he really needs to tell Gordon Ramsay to fuck off. We've got Hellfire, who again had no originality. We have Nitro. We have TNT, who looks to be Nitro heavily upgraded. Possibly. Definitely the same head and looks like the similar body type and same basic idea. You know, explosive related stuff. Hellfire Ground Assaults. So, didn't we already have a Hellfire character? Yes, so that's an upgraded version of him. Sergeant Scorcher. Lieutenant Blaze and Inferno. Who for some reason is green. Come on, if you're going to call yourself Inferno, be red. Or orange or something. Right, I think that's all the parts out. So who have we got? By process of elimination. By process of elimination, it looks like it's the same guy on the back there, who should be Captain Bolt, I think. No. Colonel Cooper, maybe? No, I think it's Lieutenant Blaze. Let's just see what we can do. Lock on, feel my legs! That's because your arms have been blown off. Yes, I'm quoting Frankie Boyle there because why not? Actually, from what I can tell, plastic quality feels alright, although this leg, no sooner do I say that than this leg seems to have trouble getting on. I think I'll just leave it at that for the time being, because otherwise, who knows, it may just break. It might just be the limitations of the system, to be honest. It might just be meant to be designed to be that limited. Are these hands all the same? Yes, they are. And he even has a gun. Alright. There we go. The gun's in. Actually, these are fairly similar to Lego hands in some regards, but let's just allow the autofocus to catch up. And yes, I'm pretty sure that this is Lieutenant Blaze. And the head sculpt seems to be quite reminiscent of Robocop in some regards. But full 360 rotation in the arms, not much other movement beyond that. You can always move a gun like that, but that just looks silly. And you've got the legs that just... yeah, they just don't seem to have much in the way of movement at all there. Yeah, not that impressed, although the actual plastic quality is alright. It's quite solid feeling. Not sure it's something I would ever want to put on display, but you do have this little switch here to make it light up. And that's basically it lit up. What happened to my finger? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what's happened to my finger there. It's not blood or anything, it's just... I'll have to look into that later. But yeah, then we have our friend in blue, Lieutenant Blaze, who seems to have the ability to knock the autofocus out. But then again, so does everything else that I seem to record with. Anyhow, we'll put him down here. And we'll see what we've got in here. I feel a jump cut coming on. Okay, so here's our other character who appears to be Hellfire Ground Assault. Now, this guy's limbs seem to have a lot more freedom of movement. Although his head, because of the design, it's just going to, not work. Okay, so you've got one position for the head and that's it. But the arms move quite freely. Again, a little bit of wiggle room there, that's about it. The legs feel a lot freer. It seems to have a bit more motion, although they can pop up a bit. One disappointing thing about this is that he only came with one hand. I don't think that's intentional. I don't know if it was just packaged that way or if when he fell out of the packaging, the hand went onto the floor of my room, where it will probably be lost and eventually picked up by a vacuum cleaner. But I kind of like the gun. That's a less generic looking thing than this. But, you can sort of imagine what they'd be like with two hands, which wouldn't really make that much difference. Oh, he's got a red light. He's got a blue, he's got a red. They must be enemies. Stimmies? Yeah. Go for a drink? Yeah. Alright, we'll just let their batteries wear out a bit. I'll just push all of this other stuff to one side. Who wants to take a look at these? Nobody? Well, so that's my video. I call the shots. And I get to blunt the camera as well. Ooh, bloody hell. I wasn't expecting it to actually be... I was expecting it to be individual pieces, but unfortunately it's not. So, I'm going to have to hold it like this so that you can actually see the whole beauty of... Oh, September, October, November, December. It's giving you the last few years of last year. Completely useless at this point, of course, but... Oh, this was supposed to be 2016. It is. And then it goes into... Right, so obviously this is working on the assumption. I wonder what's at the back of this calendar then. Is it going to give you the first few months of next year? No. But you do have a great picture of Ranko... No, Ramak. Not Ranko. Rancour, that's Star Wars, not Scotland. Rancock Moor, Scotland. You can just about see the writing in the bottom right hand corner there. And that looks like it could be a pleasant Sunday walk. If you're wondering about the effect on the water here, that's just a camera photography trick. If you leave the aperture open for a certain period of time, you will actually get effects like this. And sometimes that can, you know, if you leave it open for long enough, it'll actually end up looking like water has turned to mist, which is a beautiful effect. And then we have Gateshead. This has actually been taken from Newcastle, because this is Newcastle's side of the Tyne, and that's Gateshead. Okay. It's quite high up, so that's either from somebody's apartment or somebody plans to find a really good vantage spot. Stonehenge. Folkestone, which I believe is in Kent maybe? I'm not entirely sure of that. Somebody's managed to find quite an interesting angle of the quayside, and the very small looking little moorings that they have there. What's the proper term? Marina, that's it. In various different houses. That doesn't look like too bad a place to visit. But all these old factories, which who knows if they're still being used or not as actual factories, or if they're just being used for storage. This is Bow Fiddle Rock, Scotland. So somebody's managed to get up to Scotland when the weather's been nice, and they have taken a really lovely photo of that. That is something I'd like to recreate myself sometime. That's our photo from the front. That is the River Wye in Wales. And yeah, that does actually look quite picturesque in its own right as well. I think, yeah, it is the same photo, so just in this case they've cropped it and zoomed in a bit more. But looking at it like that, if I was going to recreate this, I'd probably recreate it with a castle in the middle here, because that's just the way I work in that record. We have Clifton Suspension Bridge. Okay, again, one of many places I've not been in the UK, and for the sheer challenge of trying to recreate a shot like this and getting as good an image as that, yeah, I'd be up for that. St. Paul's. Somebody's obviously came early in spring, and we've got some beautiful dark blue sky in the background there. And St. Paul's itself looks rather good as well. But I doubt those flowers will be blooming by the time I could get there. They'll probably be long gone by then. Loch Shiel again. Alright, I don't have any idea what that is. That's probably some sort of monument to someone or something, possibly a war monument. But I have no way of actually knowing that without actually doing some research, which I'm not going to do in the middle of a video. And then we have Menai Bridge, assuming it's pronounced like that. If it's not and I've offended anybody, sorry, but those things happen. And again, that does look quite nice. I'm assuming a summer shot by the looks of it. Wales does have some rather beautiful countryside, but then the whole of the UK does have some rather beautiful countryside. And I, for one, would like it to stay that way. Beautiful and nice and clean. Speaking of which, the Yorkshire Dales, also known as a bit of a lovely nature spot. Didn't realise there were so many little houses like this. There must be all kinds of different farmsteads and so on. Possibly just little shelters and stuff for farm hands or the animals or whatnot. Who can really say? I, for one, certainly can't. But again, that was obviously a beautiful shot on a beautiful day. Right, okay, well, that's that for Poundworld Haul Part 2. I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.